Hey, Facebook land. Welcome, welcome, welcome for this very interesting, inspired moment in my day. I have been putting together some information about empaths and highly sensitive people. And honestly, just being able to review all of the information and touch it all again and have those touchstones of remembrance of who we really are, I was inspired to hold this session to have live Q&A. And so bring your questions, whatever you think you want to know about an empath, whether you are the empath or perhaps someone that you care about in your life is an empath. And so this is an opportunity to have some answers to some of those questions. And then also just to kind of fill in with some fun chatter and connection, we're going to talk about possibly some myths that are floating around out there in the world about what empaths are. Hi, Janelle. So yeah, I'm just gonna let everybody fill in as we go. And for now, let's just talk about some of the myths, because this conversation about being an empath is elusive and misunderstood, and oftentimes gets pushed down, kind of squelched, because we're seen as too sensitive, we're babies, we need to let things go, we need to get over it, things like that, right? And so we are so often just kind of pushed down and told that there's just something wrong with us. And if you hear that enough over in the course of your life, you begin to believe it. You begin to show signs of believing that it is something wrong with you. And so we're just going to debunk all of that crap, because none of that is true. No one in this world has it all figured out. And honestly, we're all just trying to navigate to figure out who we are. And so this beautiful community of being empathic, we just have our own special language that we need to look at and integrate and inhale and have. And so that's what I want to do today. So I see some lovelies in the room. Thank you for coming. So let's talk about the first myth that I wanted to discuss. And this one is probably the one that I heard so much in my life, my personal life. I've heard in various forms, I am too something. In whatever situation is going on, I'm either too much, I'm too emotional, I'm too sensitive. There's always a "too" in front of that word. Anybody else have that? Yeah, I bet you do. Because there's this reaction that the rest of the world has towards us where they don't know exactly what to do with us. And we don't even really know what to do with us, to be honest. But they don't really understand what to do with us. And so there's always a conversation about us being too much, too sensitive, too emotional. And I feel like that's the rest of the world trying to categorize what they're getting from us, like how to put us in a place. And there's a very interesting phenomenon that happens in human nature, is that we all categorize our experiences because it helps us relate to them. If we know that this is good, then we know how to act towards it or treat it, or whether to have it in our life or not. If this is bad, then we know how to interact with that. And so being empathic, when we are a big bubble of energy and a big ball of emotions and kinetic frequency vibration, how everyone else is reading that is, we're too much. We are too much. Now that isn't a negative, it's not a slight. Typically when an empath is too much, for me, I feel like that means we are not understanding our own bubble, our own energy, and how we're pumping it out into the world. And so it feels like an empath can clear out a room if they're not careful. We are powerful. We're powerful. That's the thing to know, is that our energy is too much for some people, and it comes from that space of not knowing how to master it. And so when an empath is kind of just flowing into the room and they're not skilled enough to keep it managed, and this isn't a negative or a judgment or anything, it's just kind of the truth of energy. then it will wash over everyone and everyone will experience that flood of frequency. And so that too much energy is accurate, not in a negative, just it's accurate. So that's one of the myths. So, hey guys, hey Christopher, hey Alex, hey Kayla, Melanie, I see my lovely hubby in there. Hi guys. So feel free to type in any questions you have as I'm rolling along. We're just going to chat. I want to be available at this time for you. If you have pertinent questions going on with this conversation, then please jump in into the chat and I will ask and we'll answer. I'll read them out loud. So yeah, just capping off that one, it's that we are too much. We shouldn't minimize ourselves because of that. Really what it comes down to is being able to master who we are and when to give out the energy and when to hold it back for ourselves. So it's mastering our own ebb and flow of our own frequency is part of the educational process for an empath. Because typically when a person in the outside is saying an empath is too much, that person doesn't realize they're an empath. So that's where it kind of glitches for everybody. So yeah. So show of hearts, show of hands. Anybody ever heard you are too something, you're too much, you're too sensitive, yada, yada, yada? Yeah, just flip in there with a little heart or whatever and let me know that you get what I'm saying, because it's prevalent in our world. It's at a high level when people from the outside don't understand our frequency. So yeah, I see you, I hear you, I get it. One of my other favorites is, I hear this so much, and you do understand, yeah, hearts, hearts, hearts. Yes, I see you, thank you. You do understand that there's truth in jest and there's truth in everything. We are just reacting to it from our own perception, and other people are reacting it from their perception. So when we break it down and we reverse engineer that, perception is illusion. Perception is I see it from where I am, therefore I'm going to react to it from my own ego space, my own past. So with that said, yes, hearts, hi guys. Oh, I love it. So one of my favorites that I hear a lot, and I say favorites loosely, is you need to get over it. You just need to let it go. There's probably truth in that. I feel like the issue, yes, hearts, hearts, hearts. I feel like the issue around that is the empath gets impacted in a real, emotional, of course, but there's something that happens when we get our feelings hurt or someone harms us or hurts us, even if they don't know they're doing it. Like, we are sensitive creatures, so let's just chalk that up to that. But when it comes towards us, it's not only hurting our feelings. There is a sharp, jagged energy coming towards the heart chakra. It hurts on a real physical level in a very strange conversational way. Because yes, it's invisible, and yes, we can't see it, but it's on a real level. That energy that's jagged comes at us, and because our heart chakra is our center, it hits us in the heart chakra. It's not going to hit us in the third eye. It's not going to hit us in the legs. This is usually our big bullseye area. So anything that's going to come at us usually hits us in that heart chakra. It hurts. And even if they don't know they're doing it, because we throw energy around all the time, we judge, we say off the cuff things that didn't land really well, we improvise our comedy, and we hurt each other's feelings accidentally, right? That happens. That's the way it kind of goes. And if we're not careful, hi Carrie, hey Robin. So if we're not hi Gail, hi, just saying hi whenever I want it. If we're not careful, it'll actually stick in our heart chakra. It lands and it stays. And so what the outside world perceives is that we're obsessing about it. We're obsessing. Why did they do that? I'm so sad. I can't believe they did that. Yes, there's obsessive energy in there, but some of that obsessive energy is because we still have that energy stuck in the heart chakra. So where the outside world says you need to get over it, it's really difficult for the empath to just get over it. It is a skill. And even if you can let go of the energy that has been thrown, it still kind of lingers in the mind. And I haven't unlocked the secret of letting it go because I don't know how yet. I obsess over things like that. And I think the best thing I can do personally when I have that going on is I go through a series of questions where I might go into, okay, who are they? Because I need to know like the level of the relationship. I want to know how much time I want to spend on this. Do I really, really, really love them and want to fight for the relationship? Or is it a stranger and I'm like, all right, that sucked. Okay, let's move on. It's usually people that I love. It's usually people that I want to work on the relationship. That's what sticks the hardest, right? The rest kind of bounces off. And so, hey, Rebecca, guys, if you want to start asking questions in the room, if you have questions, please feel free. Yes, Carrie, obsession is so sucky. It's sucky, literally. It will suck your energy dry. However, to tell an empath to just get over it, it's impossible. They can't just get over it. We have to build skills around being able to get over it. And so my own personal style of that is I first establish where the relationship is and whether or not I want to work on it, right? Because you want to know where that level of commitment is. And then I try to ask questions around it for myself, like, what was the scenario? Did they mean to do it? Did it feel like they meant to do it? Because that's an important question. That falls in the conversation of the empath trusting their instincts, trusting their guidance and their own intuition, which is the skill down the road from learning all these skill building exercises. So did they mean to do it? Because that's an important question to answer. If it feels like it was malicious, you have a whole other series of actions to take. If it felt like it was just frivolous and unconscious and they didn't mean to do it, okay, got it. We're going to go down that avenue. They didn't mean to do it, but it still sucked, right? It still hurt. What do I want to do about it? Is my very next question. What do I need to do about it to have my heart feel like I'm back in alignment with my heart? And so that conversation is internal. That conversation goes inward to my heart. What do you need right now to feel like I have honored you? And sometimes that means going to that person and saying, hey, I don't know if you meant to do this, but that hurt. Sometimes that's letting it go, but watching in case it happens again. Sometimes it's moving away from that relationship just to give a little bit of a buffer until you feel like it's not a pattern in them. So I ask my heart, what do you need? And it might, typically it says, say something, tell them, and then I'll work on that language. And that has proven to me to be the most self-supportive act, because typically, because we're told something's always wrong with us, we're always, as empaths, looking out at, what did I do wrong? Are they mad at me? Why did they do that? I must have done something to hurt them. And so that is a rabbit hole that we will get lost in. So what if we turned it on in the inside and we asked our heart, what do you need to feel aligned again? And then listen and then go do it. And I've learned that that technique gets me out of a lot of obsessive compulsive thoughts of, oh, they were just being a bitch and I know that they don't like me. And that's the shadow obsessive. That's where we get lost and we get caught up in all of the stories of who they are and why they did that, and I knew that they were like that, and then we end up losing that relationship because we didn't ask our wisdom, we asked our ego. So important distinction. Hi, Joanne. Hi, Liz. Hey, everybody. Good. Let's see if we have any questions so far. Yeah, the letting go is hard. It's probably one of the biggest phenomenons as an empath, to be able to let it go. And I'm not even saying that my process allows me to stop obsessing about it, but the obsession happens when I don't understand the other side. So that's why my going in and asking, and then maybe even like going as far as talking with them, it invites them into the, they may not know they did that. And then all of a sudden, the obsessive thoughts of, I knew that and they did that, stop. It's awareness and education, because you are now educated on where they were, and they are now educated on where you were. So if you feel that, let me see some hearts. If you have had that in your life, and maybe this conversation around how to work your way out of that situation, throw up some hearts in there and let me see your beauty, because that's really that's a big skill building exercise. So Christopher says, I have a hard time knowing if I am empathic at times because I feel like I don't feel emotions at times because of my guard. Ah, beauty, beauty, beauty. Yes, this is a very important conversation. Thank you so much for that. People can struggle with knowing if they're an empath because we have cultivated years and years and years and years of shielding. An empath is born wide open, beautiful, delicate, perfect, and then bam, something happens, and then we go, oh, I don't like that. And that could be anywhere around 2, 3, 4, or 5 years old. But the world is perfect, and then all of a sudden the world is not perfect. Yes, hearts, hearts, I see you, I love you, thank you. So when you have that moment of, oh shit, this world is not perfect and I'm not sure if I'm safe, there goes the first layer. Now you've got that first galvanized steel of layering. And then let's say you have it again and again and again and again and again, again and again, 30, 40 something years. You have layers upon layers of shielding. Yes, so to validate you, it's a possibility you're empathic and you just have buried it up so far that you're not sure. That's a very common situation for people. So part of that skill building is in understanding, number one, acknowledging that those shields are there. A lot of the work around this, the shadow work around it, is not being, we don't want to ignore it because that never goes away. We've done that for years. That doesn't work, right? We get that. And you can't attack it. You can't like explode the shields away because your internal sensitive self won't allow that. So we've got to find a little middle space in there. And honestly, it's about acknowledging the possibility that they're there. I'm open to the possibility that I have years of shields layered upon me. Okay, just sit in that. Just sit in that awareness of, I'm wondering if this is what's going on with me, rather than, and not making it right or wrong, just really, I wonder if that's a possibility. Yeah, I'm open to that. And just leave it right there. Then leaning into the conversation, I wonder what it would take to take one of those layers off. I wonder what I can do to be the space to take off one. And then just, you don't even have to have that answer. This is the wisdom that we are. Our answers are from within. They're not in the brain, they're in the heart. The empath's wisdom lies in the heart chakra. So you don't even have to understand that question. It's about being present to what is or what could be possibly, and then leaning into the I wonder, just kind of being curious, and leaning into the I wonder what it would take. I wonder how I can be the space for myself to trust myself enough to take this shield off. Another big myth, this is kind of leading me naturally into this, is we feel like we need to shield in order to survive. That is a learned skill from childhood. It's why we have the shields, right? We learned very quickly that the world isn't safe and we need to hunker down, rally up, get all that energy really tight and hard so nothing can get in, nothing can hurt us. But in the meantime, that has cut us off from our source. So yeah, we're protected, but we're alone. By nature of being empathic, our connection and our nutrition comes from our connection to source. And it comes from our connection with each other. So I always call that the princess in the tower. She's safe, but she's really sad and alone because she's isolated. That's the empathic way. And that's a gigantic myth that we need to bust. There is a way to be open and not in the vulnerable that we believe is painful. It's a powerful vulnerable. It's a, yeah, I'm open, but I'm watching what comes in, and I have say over whether or not I like it. That's the empowered empath, of being able to have those shields totally like this. Gates are wide open, but we're watching and we're monitoring and we're questioning and we're standing for ourselves. And when we do that, trust is cultivated, not trust, trust. And when we trust, we've got this. So thank you so much for that conversation, Chris. I really, really appreciate that. Yeah. Hey, Keith, welcome. Rebecca's asking, do you find that empaths are sought out by narcissistic behaviors? Yes, I do. In a horrible way. I don't freaking understand it. This is one of my biggest, I'm going to figure this out before I die. There is some sort of like attracts like, even though they're not like. There's this very interesting, I call it the, you know how train cars hook up, right? You've got to have the open, right? The receiving and the giving, right? Because you have to have that link, okay? I don't understand what draws the narcissist and the empath together, but it is one of the strongest, most common conversations for empaths. Almost everybody I've ever met has had a narcissistic relationship in their life. And this is a fairly new conversation for us. I know that it's linked in old psychology, but it hasn't been discussed in our early lifetime because we didn't really fully understand the conversation of an empath. Narcissism, sociopath, and psychopath has been understood, of course, in psychological worlds. But the story of the empath has just now started gaining some momentum. And so we didn't understand it until, I want to say the last 5 years. And now the explosion of articles and conversations around it. And so thank goodness we're talking about it. There's something that links them together, and it's almost the perfect storm. The narcissist needs to be worshipped, and these are general conversations, of course, everyone's different, but the narcissist generally needs to be worshipped. They need to be number one. They would love to be adorned. There's this, I am the winner, I am best. And then the empath is, I need to love. I need to show you that I love you. I need to heal you so that you love me. So it's this perfect storm thing that happens between the two people that it's an interesting phenomenon. And I am so dedicated in figuring out the math, the spiritual math around that, because I want to understand in a more bringing it out of the psychological and the esoteric conversations and bring it down into like a real world digestible language so that I can understand it and so I can help other people understand it. But yeah, it is absolutely the weird connection that we have with narcissists. So, hey, Emily. Hey, Gail. So the fable versus focus. I'm not sure what you mean about that, Gail. Yes, hearts, hearts, hearts. If you have had a narcissistic relationship, let me see your hearts. Well, I would do my heart, 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 heart. Yeah. So let's see. Good, good, good. Yes, Rebecca says that makes so much sense for an empath, that rabbit hole. Yeah, we fall down in the rabbit hole of wanting to adorn them. We love, that's our connection. We love all. And we don't understand why they don't love us back. It gets very, it gets dicey in there sometimes. That's part of the skill building of the empath, is knowing when your giving is hurting you. That's part of the skill building. Let's just break it down. We give until we die. And sometimes our giving kills us. Energy's, you know, it's infinity, of course, but we as a physical being only have so much energy we can give. And so if we give to everyone and then we feel guilty when we give to ourselves, hearts, if you understand that one, then we are really giving away all of our life essence, and eventually we wither up and die. So one of the strongest skill building practices that I work with people is in simply knowing when you're giving to others is now harming you. There has to be a line of give, 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 give. Ooh, I can't do it. And then being okay with saying that. It sounds really weird to the rest of the world, but for empaths, saying no is one of the hardest things that we have to experience. We will feel guilty. We feel ashamed. Our whole value system is wrapped up in whether or not we can give. So there's this whole messed up programming back there that says we are only valuable if we can give our love. That's the crux. I'm letting that one sit in. I'm seeing a lot of beautiful hearts. Yeah, that is the crux. If we are believing that the only way we have value on this planet is to give our love away, then we're going to kill ourselves doing it. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be a sacrifice. I'm not in the mood to be a martyr. And I want to give, and I want to give my love. And so I have to manage where that line is, and then just be okay with feeling guilty about it, because you're gonna feel guilty. Yeah, that's part of the skills, guys. These are skills. These are things that you can learn. These aren't things, you're not born this way so that you just have to deal with it. These are things that you're born that way. Now let's figure it out. And that's the issue, is that we're born with it, and it's not an understood conversation for the rest of the world nor ourselves. So no one knows how to handle it. The outside world doesn't know how to handle us, and we don't know how to handle us. So we try our best and we screw it up a lot, and we allow others to help us screw it up. So what if we had the opportunity to create skills around all of these conversations? Yeah, think about that power that would be invoked from within. Hey, Rochelle, good to see you. Christopher, yes, that honestly scares the shit out of me. Okay, yes. Now think about that. So here's where I want to take you back to that conversation. Who else here, show of hearts, felt scared when I was talking about possibly taking off one of the shields? Yeah, heart, 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 heart. So this is what keeps us handicapped within our own bunker, is the fear of what's going to happen if we take even one of those shields down. And it's primarily because our ego remembers just how much it hurt, and we don't want that to happen again. And see, all those shields are fortified through the ego. The ego remembers the pain, and it's trying to calculate the future to help you survive. So it's always doing past, future, past, future, past, future. That sucked, let's not do it again. That hurt, be careful. That's what the ego's job is to get the organism through this life as long as it can possibly stand. So when we start talking about taking off one of those shields, then the ego goes, remember how that hurt. And then we go, oh, never mind. So yeah, it's okay that it's scary. It's about understanding where the program lies. It lies in your ego. Your ego lies to you. Your ego lies to you and tells you you won't survive without those shields. You have to have those shields in order to survive. So it lies to you because it's projecting your survival, not because it's evil. I don't believe that. I don't think it should be cut out of you. Your ego is in place to help you survive. Because think about if you didn't have an ego tell you that fire was hot, that the side of the mountain was a long drop. If you didn't have that ego, we would be burned to death, and we would walk over every single cliff we ever came to, because we wouldn't remember or know of danger. But the ego misunderstands what real danger is, and it perceives pain as real danger. So it is confused. So the skill building is to educate the ego part, is giving it an appropriate space to help you survive, but then shuttle off all this perceived danger. It's not real danger. Thanks for that. I'm glad that scares you. That's how you know it's the truth. So Carrie says, ever get empath burnout? Sometimes I just want to have, I just don't want to have to feel everything from everyone all the time. Yes, there is a thing called empath burnout. It's probably not the technical term. It is where basically what it comes down to is an empath is the psychic sponge in all of its glory. We suck in all of the energies within our vicinity. And part of the skill building is in knowing that you're doing that, and then being able to set up protocols and exercises to help clear it. And then, yes, there's appropriate conversation around being able to give yourself downtime away from people. There's nothing wrong with that. The goal, though, is to do that from a space of because I want to. I'm feeling I need this, not, oh my God, I'm going to die. I have to hide for 5 days. That's the burnout. That's the, I need to run away from this because it's now an overwhelm mode. Anybody get empath burnout? Let me see some hearts, because I think that's a really, really strong conversation. Thanks for bringing that. So yeah, the goal is to get to a place where we are recognizing that we just want to have downtime. And in the meantime, we're knowing how to filter, we're knowing how to clear, we're knowing these exercises and skills on how, yes, hearts, 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 I see you, loves, how to be able to manage public life, but then knowing when you want to have downtime, but not when it's in a crisis mode, when it's a conscious choice. And that's skill building. I think you guys are getting the point of this conversation, is that I want to take empaths from a space of I have no say, I have no power, I can't help it, there's nothing I can do about it, it sucks, and I just have to deal with it. I want to get people from this space over to this space of I was born an empath, sometimes it sucks, but I manage it quite well. I know what the hell I'm doing with it. I've got this, 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 and this to pull from when my life starts spinning out of control. I can't take away the empath. We don't want to take away the empath anyway. I can't take that away for you. I can't just make your life okay. And learning skills doesn't just make life perfect, but it equips you to navigate it when it sucks. And it sucks often. That's life. We don't grow unless we have contrast, and we don't have this push-pull experience of like and don't like. That's where we really understand who we are, is by this interesting triangulation of what I like and what I don't like. Because in the center, I then know who I am. It's the knowing self, right? Does that make sense in there? Any hearts that understand that? When we know these two contrasts, I know who I am in the middle because of what I like and what I don't like. When all we ever have is what I like, I won't know myself. That's Candyland. That's La La place. That's, you're in dream state and everything is, you know, rainbows and unicorns. It's not real. Life is real. And this is our experience to navigate. You have no choice over that, but you have choice on how well you navigate it with that skill, the skill building part. Hey, Tammy. See, Rebecca says, yes, shields from childhood can be such a hindrance. Absolutely. It keeps us from our true self. It keeps us from accessing the reason we came to this planet. Yes. Gail, let's see what she says. Also, reminding it years to create the, it takes years to create the layers. Inquiries will create the lighter layers as the heavier layers slip aside. Yeah, once you start getting into the question helps. There's a really powerful practice in being in the question. When we're being in the wondering of it and the curiosity of it and the, I'm open to that possibility. Our frequency starts opening towards our crown chakra and towards the universe, allowing answers to come in. When we're the princess in the tower or prince, and we close in because I don't understand and I don't know what's happening to me and I can't figure this out, our energy shields up and tightens, and information is not going to come in that way. But when we go, I wonder what this is. I wonder why. I wonder where it happened. I wonder what I can do about it. I wonder what it's going to feel like when it's gone. You don't have to have any answers to those questions. Just being in the wonder opens that up. So yeah. Melanie says, when I am open, fake friends attach cords. Yeah. Yeah. You have to watch for that. That's also that connection energy of when the empath, right? There's this connection of, I want to suck your energy, and empaths want to give the energy. So yeah, they'll try and sometimes succeed in attaching cords, but the responsibility is on the empath of having boundaries and then being able to understand the sensations in the body when cords are attached, and then knowing how to immediately cut them. So yeah, true. Any hearts in there getting that? Hi, Anna. Let's see. Carrie says, trust is self. Beautiful distinction. The trust is about self, guys. Being empath and navigating this world is not about trusting other people. This is where we misunderstand. I don't believe trust exists in that fashion. That's not what it's meant to be. An empath must trust self, so that when we are in relationships and something hurts, I have my own back to enact my boundaries so that I don't feel like I have to shield. The shields were put in place because we don't have skills in boundaries. Walls are birthed in fear. Boundaries are birthed in, I love myself enough to not let you do that to me. And I love you enough to let you know it. Those are boundaries. Shields are never going to work. Walls never work. You're just the prince or the princess in the tower. So they don't really work. Let's see, any other questions? We're going to start wrapping this up in a moment. I am so excited that you all came and played with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, Callie. Good, Rebecca, this is hitting home. Yeah. So show of hearts, who has up until now did not realize they were the prince or princess in the tower? Does that make sense? Do you see now how those walls, they may protect you, but we're alone. So how many people today have started to feel, oh, crap, I'm the prince or the princess in the tower? Yes, hearts, 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 hearts. Hi, Pam, good to see you. We fall in love with potential. Yes, Monique, hi, honey. Alex says, narcissists are self-centered and like to talk about themselves, and empaths are good listeners. And often they turn into punching bags for the narcissists who need to take out their negative emotions on someone. Yes, and we'll take it because we love them. Excuse me while I do a very big eye roll right there. And Christopher says, wow, can relate to that a lot. Good, good, good. Rebecca, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see if we have any other questions. Hi, Millicent. Oh, honey, hi, good to see you. Jessica, Jimmy, hi, loves. Let's see, any other questions? Cheryl, Kristen, Michelle. Oh, so lovely to see you, loves. Yes, yes, yes. Skills and boundaries. Let's see. Oh, John, hi. Little backstory. John's my very first online friend. You know how many times I love telling that story? We were AOL friends, dude. We were there in the beginning. So good to see you. Carrie, this conversation is really helping me retool my ideas for trust. Good, good, good. Yes. All right. Well, I'm gonna, let's see, having shields up and being an empath, does it, okay, good, we have questions. So having shields up and being an empath, does it cause things in your life to turn sour if you don't allow the energy? Yes. Yes. Let's kind of reverse engineer this a little bit, right? So if an empath, and this is all just if this is a possibility, right? If an empath's true power center is the heart chakra, which is an emotional chakra, the heart chakra houses all of our emotions. For an empath, it's also our emotional guidance system. How we feel tells us how we're doing. This is why years and years and years of having people tell us we're too sensitive, you just need to get over it, negates that trust that we have with our emotional guidance system. So now we start questioning ourselves. Then we go into life hoping like hell we get things right. It hurts, we make mistakes, so we stop trusting ourselves. So now we have a broken trust. If we're navigating blind because now we don't trust this and it sucks, then shields are going to go up. It's our last ditch effort to survive, right? Does that make sense? So if shields go up, excuse me, it's going to cut us off from our wisdom, from source navigating us with guidance. So now we make more mistakes. So more shields. And we try again and we get it wrong. And we try again and we get it wrong. Shield, 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 shield. So what happens is an empath doesn't trust themselves. So they stop listening to their guidance system. They shield it up because we keep making these mistakes, right? I don't believe in mistakes, but whatever, but mistakes. And it hurts, and we don't like when it hurts. So we protect ourselves. So then we go numb. We end up not understanding anything about ourselves or life. What's left? Tower. We say, F it, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I will just wait until something makes sense, and we hide. And we miss opportunities and new jobs or new relationships or new moments and new gifts and new exciting adventures come in our experience, and we don't know it. So we miss it and we go numb. So we miss all of these experiences that source is putting in our path, but we're too busy doing this. And so we don't want to see. Anybody feel that? Anybody get that? That is when an empath goes dark. That's when an empath gets completely off path. Because this lifelong process of breakdown, losing trust, not having connection, and then losing our guidance system. Yeah, hearts, hearts, hearts. I see you. This, and it actually, like, there's emotion there. This is when we forget who we are and we lose ourselves. And depression sits in and isolation sits in. It is the reason I do this work. And I'm not even saying I have all of these things figured out. I'm navigating through them like everyone else. But I see a little bit of how the skills provide most of the conversation that we had today. Boundary setting, understanding how to say no, knowing the energetic cords and attachments and how to, yes, hearts, 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 I see you. Being able to keep your energy clear so that you can stay open. And when you're open, you're connected to your guidance. And when you're connected to your guidance, then your wisdom is alive. And when your wisdom is alive, then you don't miss anything. It's there and you see it and you feel it and you're like, yeah, I know this. I'm doing it. Screw it. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I'm doing this. You have faith in yourself and you have faith in your connection. And ultimately, that's what we want, right? We want to be alive. And while we're alive, we want to have this experience like to the full level of possibility and wonder and joy. So let's engineer that way. Let's go forward that way. That's where my passion is. This is where we're leading towards this beautiful, empowered empath. I have skills to show you if you're willing. You don't have to just hunker down and take it. This isn't something that you have to just deal with. Those are myths. Those are lies that your ego told you. What if there's another way? I have things I can offer you. The Empowered Empath is scheduled in Boise, Idaho, February 2nd and 3rd. And it's a 2-day event where we break down every single one of these conversations in a group setting, but how they apply to you. That's the unique style of my work. I'm it has been like this for a couple years, but I love how my guides have trained me on this. You're getting the one-on-one, but we're doing it together, which just helps heal that trust in self. And, oh, wait, I'm not the only one in the world that feels this way. There's a lot of validation there. And validation can be a very strong tool. It can be so much healing in that space of not feeling alone. It's the prince and the princess in the tower coming back into the courtyard and going, oh, there's people here. I feel pretty good. Oh, and I don't like that, so no thanks. And oh, I love that, so I'll have more of that. It allows you to get back into life. It allows you to put in appropriateness, these conversations, to keep yourself aligned and within your wisdom. I have a little gift for you, a little thank you. If you register for the Empowered Empath before Christmas, December 25th, you get $20 off. Everything is included in the workshop. You get your own workbook, breakfast. We're going to have lots and lots of experiences, exercises, skill building, everything that we've talked about. I want to create an empath army, being able to walk out into the world and go, I've got this shit. That's my passion. This is what I'm standing for. I'm standing in this space and I'm holding it for those that want to be a part of this. So let me know if you have any questions. I love you guys so, so much. Thank you so freaking much for playing with me. I love that you showed up. Big, big hearts to all of you. Thanks for the questions. I'm going to be here if you need any questions. The link to register to the Empowered Empath is theempoweredempath.info. Go to it, read it. There's a little video. Let me know if you have questions. I'm here and I love you. And let's turn what feels like this curse that we were born with, let's turn it into our superpower. Yeah. I love you. Bye.